Hello from the Real Deal Kitchen. We are back in the valley after having a long weekend in New York, in Brooklyn. And today we got back, and immediately after we had a beautiful lunch of heirloom tomato salad, which you can kind of see a little bit the side of here, the remnants of it. We had an heirloom tomato salad with some shallots and mint and some beautiful ricotta cheese that we brought back from the city. It was a ricotta cheese from Hawthorne Valley Market, farms, I should say. And that was picked up at the Green Market for us. And right now, we are working on some cornbread. So I've been pushing the deep summer season a little bit. So these vegetables and fruits, some of them technically fruits that I've been craving the last few weeks are really things that we see here in the Northeast deeper into the summer, mid-July, late July, and certainly booming in August, such as tomatoes, corn, summer squash and zucchini, eggplant, and they're certainly coming north and available at markets right now, markets that say farmers markets that bring in vegetables from other areas while they're waiting for their own produce, their own grounds to be giving the vegetables and fruits forth. But so technically these aren't really fully in season now, but I say it's always important to balance what's in season, what your body is saying. Um, I do, however, draw the line. For the most part, you won't see me eating asparagus in November or January, because I don't really know where that's coming from. It's not at least coming from the continental U.S. So there are some places where I draw the line, but for now, it is early summer. These things are around and available without too much taxation on having them shipped from very far places, and so I go with it. And it impacts the flavor as well. So truth be told, the heirloom tomatoes that we have right now that we've been eating the last few days, a little still short on that real garden fresh flavor, but once they're mixed with some really good olive oil, some salt, little pepper, I've been using some Aleppo or Espelette pepper, it all becomes very delicious and satisfies that deeper that deeper thing that's going on, the craving. Um, so for the cornbread, we have some fresh corn, which I love fresh corn in the cornbread. Cornbread, I really am understanding, is one of those things where people probably have prize fights over it or something. There's so many different ways you can make it with just corn flour, with a combination of corn flour and regular flour, or cornmeal, I should say, and regular flour. Yes, baking powder and baking soda.
How much?
A tablespoon, in recipe interlude here. A tablespoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt. Um, so that's part of the recipe for the cornbread. So fresh corn is not something that you would see readily in probably a traditional cornbread. But I love that sweetness, and it also allays the need for adding sugar. Not that, listen, you guys have listened to me enough about baking biscotti and scones and things of this nature. I think a little sugar here and there, sweetness in one's life is important, and you can get it from places other than sugar. But do you have a question?
Yeah, which would you say again?
Tablespoon of baking powder,
Tablespoon.
tablespoon, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and so sweetness is important. It's one of the six tastes, and we need to have all six tastes in our presence, in our mouths, in our life. through our food, through how we live our life, the people we're around. Um, you know, he's sweet. Oh, she's a little sour today, or oh, that what a bitter person that person seems to be. So we attribute these flavors to people as well. So it's an extension. We can extend this into so many areas of our life. So a little sweetness is good. But so if you're adding the fresh corn, uh, and you don't want to have sugar, you when you bite into those kernels, you get this burst of sweetness in your mouth. It's so wonderful, and it also just helps you be so much more mindful and present with the food that you're eating. You're not just gobbling down this sweet flavor. That being said, we're making the cornbread today, the same recipe I made over the weekend, with a couple tablespoons of sugar, just to bring up that sweet flavor a little bit, because we're at my mom's home where I've been staying for the last year, as I've been in this healing process. The regular sugar, yeah. And she likes that little kick of sweet, a little kick of that sweet. And I think it balances out her love of hot, spicy food. That's another, but that's not another topic. I mean, that's how we eat. We eat naturally. We want to balance these things out, even if we're not aware of it. So, 2 tablespoons, yes, of the sugar. So we're putting the dry ingredients together right now. The wet ingredients for this cornbread are 3 eggs, buttermilk, whole and most buttermilk that you find is going to be skim milk buttermilk. I can't speak enough to why that is. It's got to be something about the process of making buttermilk. But you can find whole milk buttermilk, and I prefer it. I prefer whole milk almost everything. Sometimes Greek style yogurts with the whole milk can be even too rich, but for the most part, whole milk is the way to go for me. So we have a beautiful whole milk buttermilk that we've put in here, 3 eggs, and the melted butter. There's melted butter. So those are our wet ingredients. And we're going to mix all this up, put the batter in a sizzling cast iron skillet, bake it for about 40 minutes, and it's delicious. So I've been called out a little bit that I haven't followed up with holding the pan up with some finishing things that we've finished, and I haven't figured out how to splice these videos yet and make it look cohesive, and here we are. Here's the finished product, just like on the Food Network. So bear with us as we kind of figure these things out, and thanks for joining us here for another ramble in the Real Deal Kitchen, and we will be back with more probably later this week, or at the very most by early next week. As always, thank you for joining us, and be well until the next time.